When did this one come out? No way. 1998? Crazy. All the way at the bottom. Literally get my secret dance. Trying to find a place to put alive flowers because they need water is very difficult when you have so much tech around and I don't have any shelves or anything. And because this is where I spend the most time, it would be nice to have them here where I can see them every day. Because these roses are already in very full open bloom, they will pass very quickly. I would love to dry some. I tend to do that when they're close to rotting or when they start to wilt. That's when I tend to dry them. I do the method of hanging them upside down and by the light or a dry place. Maybe I should cut them shorter to be able to see them better. I am so behind all of the videos that I wanted to do for this October. I was also meant to do Inktober, the October drawing challenge where you draw every day or every other day and different artists making their different lists for October, spooky season, Halloween. And I didn't get around to that because since I was having to put a lot of work in and then it was my birthday and everything, but it's the 23rd, so there's still enough time, I would say, in October for me to do that. And even if I go over into November, it's fine. I'm not gonna hold myself to be very strict about it because I do want to do it. I wanted to talk about some things that I got on my birthday, for my birthday. This was not exactly for my birthday, but it's for next year because it's a planner. I really enjoy having the big ones to write out on, and I thought this one was cute. With all of the discounts and it being my birthday and everything, I ended up getting it for a very good price. I'm not the biggest gamer exactly, but I would say over the past 3 years I've gotten into video games. Besides that, it was just the kind of Barbie CD video games that I play, and then Club Penguin. It's like Mushy Mushy, was it Mushy Mushy? The Monster Online stuff, and Stardoll. Anyway, so I'm not the biggest proper gamer with like the keyboard and whatever else. I'm still very much a noob at all of this, so I'm learning a lot. But one of the video games that I do have, this one, it requires a controller and you can only play it with a controller. And my boyfriend let me borrow his, but I ended up not getting around to it and that kind of thing. But for my birthday, because the kind of ones I thought would be a lot of fun to have would be the kind of, he ended up telling me that I'd only be able to have ones that look like this if they were custom or something like that. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. I don't need that then if it's a whole mission and whatnot and expensive. It's okay. But then yeah, and then he bought me one and he actually customized it for me. He spray painted it pink and blue because I really like Diva's imagery. She has a little bunny and everything, and I enjoy her design and whatnot, and I think she's cool. I have a Funko Pop of her and everything. He actually got me her proper, what do you call them? The controller, the little levers. He got me the covers for them, and I absolutely adore this. I think it's so sweet of him to have done this for me. One of the things I did on the day was go to Zeitz Museum of Contemporary Arts. There we go. Because on Wednesday, if you're South African, you can get in for free up to 1 p.m. Past that, you would have to pay for your ticket. But also, I think on your birthday or in your birthday month, you can also go for free as well, anytime. I went there because I don't often have the chance to. There were, I think, 2 exhibits that were still on that I had seen, I think, earlier in the year. So I didn't see those again because not much really spoke to me in those. And then also I was needing to make time for the other things I was wanting to do as well. But the new ones that I went to see was Spring is Rebellious, We Proceed in the Footsteps of the Sunlight, which I quite like that name, and A Protea is Not a Flower. I have to admit, contemporary art isn't necessarily my thing, but I do love the Zeitz Museum for the building alone. It used to be a granary, I believe, and then it was hollowed out, cut in some fun ways, and the shapes made from the walls being cut through, it looks so good. And then also how the elevators go through the towers, the tubing. It's amazing just to go there for the building alone. And then also there's a restaurant at the very top, which is a bit expensive, but it does have a view of the buildings around, but also a bit of the harbour and some sea, which is a lot of fun to watch as well. So even if you don't want to look at the contemporary art, I would recommend seeing the building and then going maybe to the restaurant for coffee or food or whatever else. I say that like going is no problem. The tickets are quite expensive, at least by South African standards. So that's why I'm very grateful the fact that Wednesday we can get in for free. But either way, I recommend going to see the building and all the art whenever works best for you, whether it be a free day if you are South African or if you're foreign, going at any time to have a look. So with contemporary art not really being my thing, I don't always find a lot of exhibits to be my taste, which is fine. I also like to see techniques different artists have used, like with, which one was it? With We Proceed in the Footsteps of the Sunlight. Zohara Upoku, don't know if I'm saying that correctly, she used a lot of fabric work, stitching. I really enjoyed seeing the different textures and things that she used. Also for her exhibit, or in all of the exhibits really, things can sometimes be built for the display where it's either holding the artworks or it's an installation to go along with the artwork, or it's a table or display that holds the books, writings, scriptures of the artist, or letters or things like that. And a lot of the time those can actually be beautifully made in and of themselves. And that's actually something that I really enjoyed with her exhibit, is these structures that were built to go along with hers. I also really enjoyed the colour of blue that was picked for the walls. So for A Protea is Not a Flower, that title, first off, blank statement like that, surprised me, because coming from a family that has a floral artist in it, I was like, what do you mean? Of course it's a flower. It actually made me wonder, has there been new research that a protea is not a flower? Or is it one of those things of you think it's a flower but actually it's not? like the brachias, brachias. You think the colourful parts of the flower, meantime, it's leaves protecting the flower that will bloom inside it, and the flower is a lot smaller than the leaves protecting it. But anyway, because it's been a number of years since I've actually been in my analysis mindset, I realized, no wait, they're talking about symbolism. How things can change in their meaning, or it could be one thing, but then a group can take it to mean something else. What am I saying? It's the same thing. Why am I? Bruh. And so, with part of the work, they had ribbons of different colors that make up the Protea kind of colors. Yellow, orange, red. And then essentially, the audience can pick a ribbon color, write what they think a Protea is or stands for, its symbolism, write that on, and then attach it to some netting with the other colors to make its own kind of installation artwork piece. So what I wrote is, it's a symbol because it's South Africa's national flower, and I personally don't recall any history of anything that I learned, or my time just being born and living in South Africa. I'm not aware of the Protea being associated with anything else than being our national flower. So something of pride. A lot of foreign films or shows tend to use like our pincushion Protea to be stand-ins for very exotic fantasy kind of flowers. Like I know in the Gotham series, Poison Ivy, I believe, made a flower that held poison, and it was actually one of our pincushions, and our Proteas are not poisonous like that. So for an example, that's one of them. Earlier today I went to the Honest Chocolate Factory and I did a workshop there with my partner. His colleague was meant to do the workshop with his partner, but he wasn't able to go, so he very kindly gave the tickets to my boyfriend and I. This is a little bag of goodies. We made bonbons, our own chocolate slab, and then the instructor was kind enough to even let us take home a slab. So they had the different flavors there that we could taste, and it was very interesting. I'm not a person who likes cooking workshops and that kind of thing. I'm not one for that. But I found it very interesting breaking down the flavor profiles, also being taught how the chocolate is made as well. Also with Honest Chocolate, they have very few ingredients as well, so the process is more simplified in that way.
Please don't show my face. Your gorgeous face. So this is it 70 or 80%? 70. 80? Milk. This is our milk. You're in for a real treat. So this is our 54% milk chocolate. That's the one that you just most recently tasted. Tempering is the process of heating and cooling over and over again. Tumi has to do this with every single batch of chocolate in order to put them into their molds for their slabs. So if you've ever eaten a slab of chocolate and there's been air bubbles in it, or it's gone a little bit grey and funny, that is because it wasn't tempered. So your big corporations, they're getting machines to kind of do it, but no machine can replicate this, right? Like a machine can pour and heat and cool and heat and cool, but it can't really encapsulate this. A fun fact, the expression don't lose your temper is actually about chocolate. Because it means like don't lose your cool, don't get too hot. So the process of the heating and the cooling is necessary. When it hit the slab, it was a little over 30 degrees. How much was it, Toons? The chocolate, whenever I take the grinder, it's 32. So it was 32 degrees, and then when she puts it, when she's done with it, it's going to be 27. She might even repeat the process again, but this is repeated for every single batch of chocolate. So those big grinders that we saw with melted, what looked like liquid chocolates, has to come through this process before we put them into our bowls.
But they had a lot of different flavors there for us to try, and this was the one that I picked as the one to take home. In here are my little bonbons that I made, and then this is my chocolate bar. We got to decorate the wrapper and everything, and yeah, it was honestly a very lovely experience. I learned quite a bit. Everyone there was lovely. Very small staff, very small group that works at Honest Chocolate, but it's definitely a workshop I recommend because you learn a lot. It's a lot of fun. You make some different things. I think the price was decent for what you do and what you end up getting as well. So it's something I recommend personally. I went shopping today for a friend of mine who is recovering from a surgery. I got her some gifts to put towards a little get better soon care package. I also thought it would be nice to maybe make some things as well. But while I was out, I went to see a bookshop I haven't seen in a long time, and I got a Dracula book. I found a cover that I actually really love. I've been wanting to read Dracula, I think, for a couple of years now, and I always wanted to hold out until I found the cover I really liked, because it's really lovely to see how the classics are getting new life with all of these beautiful new covers. Though I know capitalism and consumerism and whatnot, but anyway, I absolutely adore this cover. And speaking to the cashier, we were talking about the covers and that kind of thing in classics, and I told her what I've just told you now, and she said something along the lines of, oh, we had to have sold one before the end of the season. So referring to a spooky book like Dracula before Halloween has passed. I've already started reading it. Enjoy it so far. I'm only like, what, 6 pages in, and I didn't actually know it was actually written like journal entries. So that was a surprise for me, because I don't think I knew anything about the story, the actual story, what made it up and that kind of thing, because I knew I wanted to read it. But yes, so that's a very exciting purchase for me. I'm thinking I'll chalk it up to being a birthday present to myself, and I'm wanting to read this every day, because I have not been on top of my reading like I used to be, and especially with it being spooky season, I think this is the perfect book to be reading right now. So the things I got today, I wasn't able to go to all the places I wanted to get gifts, because there's a few gifts I'm wanting to get for people, but I thought it would be a nice idea for me to go to this, what would you call it, this artist shop where local artists sell their work of different kinds, like prints, originals, stickers, pins, candles, stitched pieces, jewelry. I like one of those kind of trinkety art shop places. My friend loves birds, and this visit they had so many beautiful things relating to birds. So this was a great time for me to have gone through. Got her some socks. I got her these cards, and these cards which I'll write in, the sticker for her car, and then in here are 2 green candles. I thought a basket might be nice, or maybe if she ever wanted to go for picnics or carry around her art supplies or anything like that. If I don't find a basket, because I might not have the time to go thrift one, because that was the plan, I do have a lot of decorative gift bags that I can then give her. And I'm really excited to get this together and give it off to her.